Okay, this is my map of the Western Line from the Cityrail Metropolitan Network. My name's Chris, and I'm going to show you what I've done. We start from Emu Plains and we go to Sydney. So there's Emu Plains Station. We have 2 tracks and 2 sidings there. The sidings don't exist, but I've put them there, and some junctions that allow trains to terminate at Emu Plains and change direction and head back to Sydney on the correct track. We have single colour signalling, and just as we enter Penrith Rail Yard, we now go to double colour signalling to allow trains to travel a lot closer. There's Penrith Station with an additional track, and on the right we have a relief line to allow freight trains and other trains to pass during congestion. Here's Kingswood Station, which is a stop and go station with 2 curb platforms, and we now have a few kilometres of double track between Kingswood Station and Warrington Station. To the right we have bushland at the back of the university, to the left the town of Warrington. I'm just using an electric locomotive with a few carriages which show how long the trains are roughly. Here's Warrington Station, and just up ahead we're going to now have the branch from Ropes Creek come in, which is now not in use, and we go to 4 tracks as opposed to 2. As you can see there, we now have up suburban, up main, down suburban, and a few junctions there which allow trains to shift over into the St Mary's Plasterworks factory just over there. Some main power lines, and double colour signalling, as I've already said, and trains travel a lot closer, as you can see by the signalling. We now have a few stations that are very similar and no junctions in between, so trains will stop and go without terminating between St Mary's and Blacktown. So after a couple of stations we're going to get to Blacktown, and the branch from Richmond is going to open up, and the 2 tracks that come from Richmond are going to travel beside our main lines and suburban lines, as you will see further ahead. All these stations are very similar. We've just passed inside. Okay, I'll just flick over a junction. Here we go. I'm going to get this train from the suburban track onto the main track. Okay, we now have a track on the left about to open up, taking us onto 5 tracks. The left track is simply just an extension of an additional platform at Blacktown, which allow trains to terminate during congestion, as you just saw. Here are the Richmond tracks to the left, up and down Richmond, which run parallel. There we go, I've just changed onto the main line. Those 2 left side tracks are going to now end, with one going on that flyover, as to allow trains to get to Richmond without interrupting the main line. There's Seven Hills Station, and just before it you notice the junction to allow trains to get to the flyover from Seven Hills heading towards Penrith Way. Okay, so we are back to 4 tracks. Up suburban, up main, and down suburban. That's Toongabbie. Double colour signalling, and the next few stations are very similar to the ones between St Mary's and Blacktown, in that there are no junctions, just stop and go stations. Okay, so up ahead we're going to have some junctions that allow trains to get from the main line to the suburban line and vice versa, and a tunnel which takes the suburban track towards the rider side. Okay, there's our junctions, and here's the short tunnel. Now we have up main, up suburban, down suburban, and this is because the suburban tracks will veer off to the right at a large junction, tri-junction. Here's Parramatta Station and a few junctions to allow trains to terminate at Parramatta. Next station is Harris Park. No terminating facilities, stop and go. We now have some additional tracks on the right which allow trains to go off into the junction and head south. We are now heading east. Granville Station, and we have a relief line on the right with shunting signalling, and there's the Carlingford branch coming into Clyde Station. We now have the relief line on the right with the Auburn Maintenance Centre, and on the left the Clyde Rail Yard and some sidings. These yards all end here, and we now have Auburn Station. All those junctions are to allow trains to shift between the suburban and main lines and vice versa, and also to terminate trains at Auburn that come out of the rail yards and send them towards Penrith and vice versa. There's a sign just says it's made by me. There's a two-directional track which is a tri-junction which heads down the Bankstown line, and the two tracks coming into Lidcombe Station with a terminating platform. To the left there you'll see another terminating platform which is the Sprint platform which heads off there to the left to Olympic Park, and some tracks that do a big bend and head underneath the main line towards the South Enfield rail yards. To the left we have the Flemington Maintenance Centre and the bypass tracks from Olympic Park coming back towards Flemington, so trains from Sydney can go straight to Olympic Park. To the left we now have the freight line which runs parallel with the main and suburban line past Homebush. It looks like it has a platform, but I've fenced it off. It doesn't really, not in real life. To the left we now have the North Shore, the Northern Line tracks coming in onto the main suburban and local line. Should have mentioned at Homebush we now open up from 4 tracks to 6. Up main, down main, up suburban, up local, down local. And here's Burwood Station, which is all 6 tracks have platforms. We now go into like a gorge. I've tried to make pretty by adding some extra trees that I haven't used anywhere else on the map. Double colour signalling very close. The main line here doesn't stop at Croydon. You'll notice one of the tracks hasn't got a platform, the other one has a platform for during track work. Here's another station that illustrates that a little clearer, with 2 of the tracks bypassing from the main line. We now have some junctions which allow trains to travel from the suburban, local and main lines and vice versa. All the tracks towards the right, which are the local tracks, are simply for these local stations, and the ones heading to the Bankstown just before Lidcombe Station. We just went over some tracks which head north-south, which don't actually relate to this line. Okay, so we're going to soon we're going to see a stabling facility to the right, just after Newtown. This is Newtown, which is where trains go during off-peak times. And this is McDonaldtown. Notice it's only accessible to the local lines. We also have the tracks coming up from the South Coast line coming in now. So now we have up main, down main, up suburban, down suburban, up local, down local, then up Illawarra, down Illawarra, and the very rider tracks are the Illawarra local lines up and down. These 4 tracks to the left go to Sydney Terminal, and the ones to the right go into Sydney, the City Circle. I'm just flicking through the junctions now. Okay, so to the left there we've got the Monterey platform, which is currently getting restored rather. And I'm just going to pull in here at Sydney Terminal. This whole map is accurate as of 2011, and if you want more information, contact me at facebook.com/69chris96. If you'd like this map, let me know, or send me an email at dj_chrismano@msn.com. Thank you.